Hey everyone, this is Megan Huber and Shawn with the Best Version of You podcast. We're super excited to be with you today. And as always, we want to give you such a big shout out and a thank you for always tuning in and listening to us because you are exactly what keeps this show going. So if this is your first time connecting with us, welcome. Again, my name is Megan and my part of the business is working mostly with women entrepreneurs who are building a service-based business online, and I help them generate more money, have more impact, and basically help them launch their group programs, courses, retreats, live events out into the world, fill those programs so that they can do the amazing work with people that they love to do.
And my contribution to our business and our programs, I work on people's mindset, what holds them back, what moves them forward, how to create better belief systems, daily disciplines, and also how the physical side actually is a huge component in motivating you to be a better version of yourself. That's why we named this podcast this. And we're doing something different today that you probably couldn't have done 10 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, is we're doing this podcast. Megan's in North Carolina, I'm in Florida, and we're going to be discussing the topic for today is how do you do business when you're not at your home office or your home base and you're traveling. As an entrepreneur, if you have a laptop or a phone and a light and a mic, you can pretty much work from anywhere and everywhere. The big thing though is how do you keep on track to making sure you're moving ahead in your business and not being influenced by a different location. And sometimes you can be on vacation with people who are on vacation, meaning they want to just relax and do nothing, which is great. We saw this happen when we were in the Cayman Islands. We came back and then we went on a vacation with my parents, but we still worked. And now that Megan's on a trip with her girlfriends, I'm still here at home, we're also continuing to do our work. So how do we go about doing those type of things? How do we keep disciplined to do it? And do we run our routine as if we were at home? So Megan.
Yeah, we've actually been on the road quite a bit. I mean, it is summertime at the date that we're recording this. So I know summertime, for a lot of families and for a lot of business owners, there can tend to be a bit more movement going on and, more time with family, kids are out of school, vacations, maybe you're running events or retreats with your own clients. So this will be, between the two of us, it's a total of about 4 weeks that we are not actually in our home base. One of the trips, it was actually out of the country. So you do have to figure out ways as an entrepreneur, especially if it's necessary for you to be present in your business in different ways. If you just totally shut it down and don't do anything for 4 weeks, at least for a lot of the business owners we work with, that's not a good thing. If they just aren't paying attention to anything in their business, they're not keeping up with the marketing, they're not keeping up with the programs, you still want to figure out, how do I really integrate my summer life and movement and not being at my home base, not being in my office, with continuing to grow my business, market my business, promote my programs, fill my programs, deliver my programs, and keep your customers and your clients really happy when you're moving around, because you still have to serve the people who've said yes to working with you.
And here's the thing that I think a lot of people, they try to force things in, and there are a lot of people who do different things. On a travel day, I do not recommend you making specific obligation times where you're going to be doing something, because planes can take off and leave differently, spotty Wi-Fi you're not sure of, delays on different things, noise you can't handle because it's coming in from all directions. But what Megan does, which is interesting, when she's at the airport, what do you call it when you're at the airport and you've got time waiting for your plane and you do a Q&A? What do you call that?
I actually have not done one of those in probably over a year.
Right.
But for a while, I was doing these back in 2017 because I was actually doing quite a bit of travel. And so Shawn and I have a really amazing Facebook group. It's called Structured Freedom for Entrepreneurs. I was going to call it the name it used to be back in 2017. It's called Structured Freedom for Entrepreneurs. So we spend a lot of time in there. We do Facebook Live shows in there. We post in there every day. It's where we're building community. We're building relationships with people who may eventually want to do business with us. We make a lot of offers inside of that group as well. So it is where a lot of our time, effort, and attention goes in nurturing relationships. So I'm actually not a fan of being in airports. I think it's like a waste of time because I don't like to sit around for 2 hours and not do anything.
Especially the last time I dropped you off.
I was like, what can I do? I know, 3 hours early. I was like, what can I do to not just fill my time or pass the time, but I'm always thinking, how can I connect more with my community? How can I move the needle forward of my business? And just because you're in a different environment, just because that circumstance has changed, you still have control over the intention you're going to set and how you can best utilize that time. So I really love kind of squeezing out like every ounce of goodness I can from a day. So I started doing this thing called airport Q&As. So I would tell the people in our Facebook group, like maybe I'd give them like a 2-hour notice. And I would say, hey, I'm on my way to the airport. I'm going to be there, like settled in the next 2 hours. What are your questions? Put them right here in the comments below. I'll come on and do a Facebook Live, and anybody who puts a question in, I'll answer it while I'm sitting here at the airport. And they absolutely loved it.
So that's the thing is you got to be creative in what you're doing. And again, like Megan said, a 2-hour notice. She knows when her flight's taking off. She knows it may not be video. It could be typed questions with typed answers depending upon your circumstance. But what happens a lot of times are people taking themselves out of the game before they even get into it. Well, I'm going to be on vacation with my family, so I can't do this. Well, I'll tell you what, I've been on vacation with my family, not Megan and Brighton, but my extended family. There's a lot of downtime where people aren't doing anything. So the big thing is when you're on vacation with extended family or other friends, is you have to explain before you get to that time you're going to go off to the room and do some video or do some work, what you're going to do. So communication is a huge key to letting people know what you're going to be doing. You're not basically ignoring them because some people will take it personally. They're sitting down watching TV or on their iPhones or they're making a meal and you're doing stuff to keep your business going. Because the one thing that people sometimes forget as an entrepreneur, not every American holiday is a worldwide holiday. So people across Europe could care less what July 4th is. They don't have Veterans Day. They don't have Labor Day. So you also have to understand that when you have vacation time that's set, let your audience know what you're going to be doing because they don't realize that. And the reason Megan went to the airport earlier is because I had clients at those times. So we could have totally dismantled everything and changed around, or she went to the airport a little earlier and got to do some work. So you have to make those decisions before you even get to those situations. Otherwise, you're scrambling and you're irritated and you're like, oh, what are we doing? So we've conducted for the last week, because you left a week ago, our business through either communicating with each other or doing it separately and both. And the cool thing about that is there's no reason why we couldn't do this. There's no reason like, oh, I got to wait till you get back. I can't do this or I can't do that.
Well, here's the solution, right? Like everything, number one, have the mentality that everything is figure outable.
Is that a word?
No.
It is now.
Actually the name of Marie Forleo's new book.
Oh, is it?
Everybody, I don't know if you can pre-order that or not, but go buy her book. Marie Forleo's book is, I think it's called Everything is Figure Outable. And number two, just be in the lane of the solution, finding a solution and looking for the solution, be very solution oriented. So, you know, with all this travel, you know, people get so bent out of shape so fast. And they're like, well, I'm going to be moving. I don't know what I'm going to be doing this day. I don't know what I'm going to be doing that day. And we don't always know exactly what the plan is going to be every day, especially when you are vacationing with family and there's other people. Like when we vacationed with your family, there were 9 different human beings that all wanted to do different things. However, Shawn and I looked at the calendar, and our business at this point, we are in very much a weekly rhythm. We know like every Monday, certain things happen. Every Tuesday, we run a certain program at 1 o'clock. Every Wednesday, we run a program at 11 o'clock. Every Thursday, there's certain things. Every Friday, there's a program at 11 and 1. We know that every Wednesday, we record our podcast. that doesn't actually change. So it's not like we're canceling all of our calls when we're vacationing. No, we have a conversation with each other with our calendars open. We identify like what is priority, what projects are coming up in the future that we've got to be planning and prepping and preparing for leading up to when that project is ready. Because look, here's the deal, like your business, your projects, your client, like the world does not care that you want to pause and go on vacation and like crawl into a hole for a while. Like it keeps running, it keeps going. And you just have to figure out how to roll with it. Have a plan. So my point is, it's so easy to integrate these two things when you just simply sit down before you go, you have a conversation and you map out a plan. And like you said, Shawn, let everybody else know that you're with, like, hey, these are the times I have work to do. This is what I'll be working on. You know, you're not gonna bother me. Like I'll just go in the room, prop up my computer and get it done. And you do it.
It's a crazy thing that you guys, if you think about right now about new cars, a lot of vehicles are coming with AC adapters to plug computers in. A lot of cars are coming with their own Wi-Fi. So I remember we were on a road trip and I bought an AC adapter for our car. We plugged that in. That was in the cup holder. It's got a fan that runs it. Megan's on her computer. She's got a hotspot on her phone. And no joke, we had a mobile office going up 95 to North Carolina. And people go, how do you do that? You just do it. You got a headset on, you got your computer. They make these new computers for while you're in your car, like a stand that you put your computer on. People are realizing that a lot of people are becoming much more mobile, doing work, from people traveling who have to make deliveries. They've got these amazing laptops. They have to have Wi-Fi because there are certain times that your Wi-Fi doesn't work. If it's built into your car, you don't have to worry about it. You can have Wi-Fi on certain new planes now. People are doing work as they're flying. Why is this changing? It's great to be able to do that, but at the same time, when you are on vacation, you have to also pick a couple days where you completely unplug. Business isn't 24/7, 7 days a week. When we were in the Cayman Islands and we were done with our retreat, we had a couple extra days. Everything was pretty much unplugged until the evening, but that's the other thing you have to realize is you do have to step away from technology sometimes to recuperate, to readjust, to realize that you may be on a different time zone. You got to give yourself some flexibility, not to be so strict and stringent on, I got to get work done. It's not about getting and have to, it's about choosing to. And the attitude in which you're embracing what you're about to do is much more important than just doing it. And that's the difference is, I mean, it's pouring rain here. Is it raining there? No.
No.
But it was 65 degrees. So we've got different things going on, but we're still doing this podcast because we wanted to. We could have done it individually. We could have done it differently. We could have done it and not done one and did another one, but we decided like, hey, let's go on and let's do this together. And it's about, we're not making a compromise. This is no compromise going on. Compromise to me is a negative thing that you're doing something you don't want to do. And a lot of people say in relationship, oh, you're compromising for the other person, or in business, oh, you're compromising for that employee. No, we're not compromising. We're coming together and embracing this difference and having a good time with it. There's no compromise being done.
Well, you take the action and you do the do, and
Right.
you do it with gratitude that you actually get to be showing up when we are how many miles apart? Like 650 miles apart.
Exactly.
We get to connect. We get to run a business. We get to connect with our clients. And like I said before, it really is just a matter of plan. You know, you were saying, Shawn, you do have to have downtime, and you do want to have time that is totally away from your business. Absolutely. And I really recommend that that's planned. I mean, you know, when you are launching new initiatives, new projects, new programs in your business, you know, when you are in like book mode, when you're writing your book and editing your book, you know, when you're in event mode, like, you know, when you've got big things coming up, or it means at least you should know, like at least a year, 2-3 years down the road, like kind of like when you're going to be in a season of really producing and performing in your business. So when you know when those things fall, you also want to incorporate on the front and back end of that downtime. And you get to decide how much downtime that is. Like, do you want a few days? Do you want a week? Do you want a few weeks? Do you want a month? But, you know, the thing that I think you and I both see from a lot of folks is they get so burnt out and so overwhelmed, and almost to a point of like, they either hate their business or they want to throw in the towel, they're done, or they have health issues, or they want to like,
or they need a vacation from their vacation, which blows my mind.
Right. But, you know, that's just because they didn't build in downtime. They're waiting until something is going wrong and something isn't.
But is it downtime or is it up leveling because you're recuperating time? That's the thing that I think people realize, that downtime, they physically see themselves down, like laid out, doing nothing. That's not the premise of downtime. The downtime is go do what you want.
Yeah.
Without worrying about anything else. Being present is actual downtime.
Right. Like, go experience adventures, go experience life, like go see the world, go do things that you're not doing in your normal day, go do things that are out of your comfort zone. You know, somebody who both Shawn and I follow, Jesse Itzler. And one of the things I really appreciate so much about how he lives his life, and he talks about this a lot publicly on his social media outlets, is that, you know, he has like X number of hours to live, X number of days to live. And everywhere he goes and a lot of the decisions he makes, he wants to experience things. His wife jokes about him all the time because he literally has like this, I don't know, like 3 foot by 3 foot paper flip 12-month calendar. And he takes it under his arm on like every plane ride. He takes it everywhere he goes because he has mapped out intentionally, this is what I'm doing, but this is also how I'm living. I think like right now they are traveling around out west in the US on an RV with their family, and they're stopping at like dude ranches, rodeos, like he's like jumping into a river with a waterfall, and it's like
Montana.
And he's like, when are you ever going to get to do this? Like, he's
so
like,
let me bring this up real quick. I have a 30-year high school reunion on August 2nd. There are so many people saying, well, next time. Do you know how many people aren't going to make it next time because things happen? Why are we prolonging something we could be doing now for next time? Like, guys, I'm going to be truthful. Some of you don't have a next time to interact with your family members. That may be the last time you've spoken to that friend. Why aren't you making sure that you're enjoying what you're doing? And I've got friends who live in the area where we're holding this event who won't show up because it's not important. But I'll tell you what, it's not that it's important or it's not important. It could be amazing because of the positive things that happened in our high school days together. Yes, there's dude, people live in the past way freaking too much for me to even comprehend. They'll say, well, that person, I said, dude, why haven't you moved on? A lot of people live in the past, and because they're living in the past is because those memories are so strong that they don't have any strong memories they're looking back to say, hey, that was fun, let's do this again. They're not creating positive events to have positive memories to look at. And that's the big thing, is you're somewhere hanging out with college friends. You went on a little excursion to your old college, to your sorority, where most people would have said, like, next time, just enough. We don't live a next time, and we don't live just enough anymore. We live to be present, to enjoy. And yes, you may be a little, I'm not sure about that, but what the hell, let's go do it anyways. Every time I go out, I have amazing conversations because I choose to. And that's the difference, is we're choosing not to bitch and moan that we're not together doing work. We're choosing to just do what we're doing and have fun doing it. That's what it is. It's choice. It's, you can go and travel anywhere. Make sure that you call the hotel beforehand. How's the Wi-Fi? How's this? If you're staying at a place, how's your Wi-Fi? There's no reason not to ask these questions and show up and expect everything to be perfect, because I'll tell you what, there are a lot of people that I've worked with now when they go to a hotel, hey, do you have an exercise facility? If not, is there something close by? Because they don't want to screw up their routine. Like, you can exercise while you're on vacation. It's okay. Most people just do nothing. Why? And that's why I always say they need a vacation from their vacation. So we really embrace being present, being healthy. And again, yes, you may have a couple drinks outside the norm. You may eat some food outside the norm, but those aren't the everyday thing you're doing. If you're out drinking and partying every day because you're on vacation, relaxing and unwinding, your body's pretty much going, what the hell are you doing to me? And you're exhausted. Is that the way in which you should live your life? Hate Mondays, wait for Fridays, party your ass off over the weekend and wonder why Mondays suck? That's why. So if you even want to take a staycation where you stay home but you're unplugged, we see so many people here in Florida doing it. There's a bunch of resorts. Their kids are out of town at a camp. They just go for a couple days. They're not that far from home, but because the change in environment helps them be more present with themselves and each other, it's an amazing way to do it. I think that's the other thing is Megan being gone makes me also realize what I miss about us being together. And again, when you're always constantly on top of each other in the same room, working all the time, you sometimes forget those things. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the big picture is be present and enjoying the imperfections, but also realize you don't have to have everything take you out of the game. You are in the game because you want to be in the game.
Do share some of those things you miss. I think our listeners would love that. Little personal behind the scenes.
Hey, all I can say is the house is much cleaner with no one here. Be by myself.
Yeah.
So how does that happen? You're like, okay, whose is that? No, that's mine because it's around now. So you start to realize what mess you're making, what stuff you're laying around. You're like, oh, I've got to pick that up. So when everyone comes back, do I change the routine? No, you just stick to it and you decide to change things. I could go out every single night and go out to eat and do that, but what's the point of doing it? But I also realized that if I want to go to the beach in the middle of the afternoon for 2 hours, I can. It's like 5 minutes away. What am I doing it when you're here? Like, why don't we do that now? And as you think about it, you're at the beach, you walk out the door, you can lay out if you want or go for a walk or exercise and come back in and go right back to work.
Yeah, that's exactly, I'll share. So I am at the beach. Well, Shawn and I live at the beach. We live not at the beach. We live like a mile from the water, like a 8-minute drive to the beach that we go to. And I am actually at the beach in North Carolina right now, and I am in a house on the beach. So it's like I walk out down the steps and I'm on the beach. And what you're saying, I did that. I've pretty much done that every day this week. But it's all pre-decided and it's all very intentional. And I know when I've already decided what times each day I'm working on my business. And I know when you and I both have calls that we're running, and I know I'm recording some training videos and different things. I know when I'm creating content for the week, but it's not like I'm going through every day thinking in the back of my mind, like, oh my gosh, I need to get that. I'm not getting to this. I'm not getting to that. It was all pre-planned. It was all predetermined. And then I'm also kind of predetermining, like, when am I going to go get beach time in? When am I going to go out on the boat? And I did that yesterday. So yesterday, I think we had a call. We had a call at 1:00 yesterday. Yes. So I actually don't remember if I did the beach. I did. I think I went. I did. I went.
Because I recalled you and you're like, I'm already at the beach, and you're like, I can't hear you. And you were
I went to the beach before the call.
Right, and after.
I got beach time before the call, and then I came in enough time to get ready. We did our call, which is about 2 hours. And then I knew I was going to go back out on the beach when I was done. And then I had some more work to do after. And it works perfectly. Because that also, the other thing I've really noticed kind of being here in a different environment, being like nature is right there, and really integrating both. Every day there is some work. Every day there is play. And it has been, I think for me, like it sparked some more creativity, even more confidence, more flow, more eating.
And why, even though we live right near the beach, what do you sometimes do in this house?
Stay in the house.
Because it's not planned.
Well, and it gets a little monotonous. Like Shawn and I work in certain rooms of the house at certain desks, and that's where we work every single day. And you get kind of like when you get out of that environment, you realize that you got a little stale. And when you're in the same room, like all day, you can, if you pay attention, your mind will take you places that are not good, and you start letting like your mind kind of lead you. But here I've been able to really shift that.
Wait, what do you mean by not good? Explain.
Oh, I mean, like, our mind is not a good leader. We need to be leading our mind. And when our mind is leading us, I mean, down like worry, doubt, fear, like those kinds of
Right.
things. Because you and I see that a lot with clients. And part of it, that is because they're not moving. They're not going elsewhere. They're staying put in this one little shell of a place.
Let me explain. So again, Megan's not here. So when I'm not doing anything, people eat out of boredom. They do things that they shouldn't be doing because, like you said, they're letting their mind lead. But if I'm like bored, I'm going to go take the dogs for a longer walk or go back to the gym or go do something that's creative because I choose to. But what happens a lot of time, we get lazy. We're like, I'll just put on Netflix or I'll just put on this TV show. And then 4 hours later, you're just waiting to go to bed or you're waiting for the next meal. Why are you doing that? Why don't you just go out and do something? I can turn the TV up louder. It's weird. Or I can watch what I want to watch on TV. So there are some pluses, but at the same time, I don't need to be doing that particular thing. I can go out and go for a walk.
Yeah.
Why don't people do that? Because they talk themselves out of it and they default to their bad habits. So the thing is, what are you defaulting to that's positive for you? And think about it. If you got some downtime and it's raining out, what can you go do? If it's not raining out, what can you go do? That's where you got to get creative. And then again, it's a daily discipline. If you've got downtime in your calendar and you haven't put anything in it, usually something ends up in it that's not positive or productive. And productive doesn't mean necessarily in business. You could be writing, you could be reading, but you need to have a go-to when you have that downtime instead of a negative thing where it's not really supporting you and where you want to go in life.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So thank you guys for being here and listening to Megan and I, being in separate states, talk about what you can do while you're on vacation. And we would love to get some feedback from you guys, what you would like to hear more of, content. Megan and I both have different ways in which we like to do certain things in our business and in our lives. That's the unique thing that works really well for both of us together. So thank you again for being here. Again, you can go on to Facebook, join our group page, which is Structured Freedom for Entrepreneurs. We list all of the things that we do from our programs to Megan has a bunch of videos out there on content. Right now, I've been posting every day live a couple times a day just to show what an entrepreneur does. And it's not always consistently the same thing. And I'm not posting at the same time. I haven't even posted today. So today is going to be from here all the way to the end of the day about what I'm doing. So again, check out everything we're doing because we're doing it a little different than most people.
Cool.
Any last thoughts, Megan?
My last thought is whatever you desire for your lifestyle and the way you want to integrate your career, your work, your business, and play and pleasure and fun and adventure, it is all waiting for you. Like the beach is there, the RV is there, the mountains are there, the sidewalk outside is there. It is completely 100% up to us how we desire to go through life and integrate work and fun and life and play. And we all have a different vision and definition for what that looks like, what that sounds like, what that feels like. And we each get to make those decisions very intentionally, but it's definitely a way more fun way to live when you are living life by design.
So get off the sidelines and get into the game, guys.
Yep. All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening in and tuning in. Like Shawn said, come join us in our Structured Freedom for Entrepreneurs Facebook group. That is where a lot of the magic happens. And we'd love for you to leave us a comment in iTunes and tell us what you loved about today's episode and leave us some hints on what other topics you might like to hear from us. And if you can think of 3 friends that you think would really love what we are dishing out over here, be sure to share this episode with them and invite them to listen in too. Until next time, bye.
See ya.